Jaguar Wright is once again backing Cat Williams after one of his bold predictions about Diddy's sentence came true. Rumors are flying that Diddy might actually be an FBI informant preparing to walk free, and people can't stop wondering how Cat knew years ago that Diddy would eventually get arrested. Now, Jaguar Wright is spilling all the secrets while Diddy's lawyers are reportedly scrambling to silence her. Sources claim that Diddy has already filed a petition for his release, with a court date allegedly set for next month.
The defense in the Diddy case gets its way. Diddy could be a free man next month, because they have filed a massive document basically setting out their position. And their position is that what he was convicted of amounts to nothing more really than an orgy.
Orgies. Yes, that he had orgies. Big deal. Is kind of the tone of the documents that they filed, and they, make their case for him. If you're going to convict him, that this should be a very lenient sentence.
So what they're asking for is this. They are saying, look, he was found not guilty on all the serious charges: racketeering, fraud, force, coercion, rape, all of those, found not guilty. He wasn't charged with rape, but it was part of the force issue. The only thing he's left with is the Mann Act, which is taking a prostitute across state lines and paying them for sex. What they're saying is, what that is worth is 14 months in prison and then supervised release for some period thereafter.
Now, we should say that this is what they are, right. Diddy's team is suggesting to the judge. The prosecutors are on the far other end of the spectrum, where they're saying he should get somewhere between 4 to 5 years. That would, I'm sure, include time served. Again, he's been in for a year now.
I gotta say,
that would be
throwing the book at him for a Mann Act violation.
Yeah.
If he gets 14 months, if the defense gets what they want, he'd essentially get out October 3rd, because
he's been in for a year, months.
And you get 15% credit for time served. So he'd basically be out after the sentence, and then he'd be on supervised release.
Cat Williams first hinted at Diddy's infamous parties nearly 21 years ago, long before the FBI had any clue what was really going on. Cat knew the truth and wasn't afraid to talk about it on stage during his shows. Every major celebrity in the industry was aware, but they chose to stay silent, knowing that if Diddy were ever investigated, their own secrets might come to light too. Cat didn't stumble upon this information by chance. He paid for it, dug deep into every whisper and rumor. And before long, he had dirt on almost everyone in the business.
To be gay in Hollywood, you never expected. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited in a motherfucker to be at the mansion party. You be looking at all the goddamn rooms, and you around and look in the wrong room and shit. Come here. Is that two niggas kissing? Is one of them niggas Professor Obi?
So there's this big list that Diddy said, I'm not going down alone. Because Cat Williams went on a podcast a while back, and Cat Williams, who is a well-known comedian in the black community for a long time, he went on a podcast and basically just regurgitated all this information that was just so valid. And he said, all these people, he said, you got God on one side, and then you got the other side. And he said, the other side, they're all going down in 2024. And he mentioned that he was offered $50 million 4 separate times to join in with these Diddy parties, to basically be sodomized. And he turned it down every time.
To help his career.
To bring his career to the next level.
Or when the industry realized just how much Cat Williams knew. Many powerful figures tried to buy his silence, offering him millions of dollars, but Cat refused every single time. Then, in 2024, just months before the FBI raids on Diddy's mansions began, Cat decided to expose everything. It was shocking timing, especially since Diddy was being honored with the key to the city at that very moment. No one could have imagined that the face of Hollywood would soon be at the center of such disturbing revelations. Cat didn't hold back. He named names and went after everyone from politicians and celebrities to pastors. During his appearance on Club Shay Shay, Cat revealed that no one in Hollywood was truly innocent and that people were being paid hundreds of millions of dollars to keep quiet. The only reason Cat had stayed silent for so long, he admitted, was because he feared for the safety of his children.
Oh man, Ken, you cool, man? How you doing?
I'm cooler than a fan, man. They took my children from me.
Yeah, I mean,
how terrible is that?
I did want to ask. The cops, allegedly found some guns and.
Yeah, they always find guns. I never leave without my girlfriend. I'm on the middle of an interview, sir.
Sorry about. They found guns and drugs now.
Drugs?
That's what it was reported.
Sir, you can look at my paperwork. There was no drugs. Weed is not a drug.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's safe for kids to be around guns and stuff like that? I mean, I'm just curious.
How do you keep this kid safe without guns? They were in a lockbox that the police broke.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm saying, if the police come in and raid my place and break into my gun boxes, you're gonna find guns. But these aren't. Well, I'm not in a gang. What difference does it make?
Now, you were actually stopped for this and let go. Because you have a license for it,
No,
right?
This is their 9th time coming to my house. The problem was this time they came to my office and took my kids from an office. Not from my house, from an office. So now when I can't have my kids at my office,
that's an issue.
I must be the most terrible black dude. Because here's the whole thing. You're going to charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies? Yikes.
He taught me so much in 9 months. Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him. And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house. And I left. Back in that moment, Cat was still wearing Kevlar to bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on. In bed.
Circuit Williams isn't the only one who's been pressured to take the money and stay silent. Dave Chappelle was reportedly offered $100 million but turned it down without hesitation. Even Oprah questioned his decision, asking if he was crazy for rejecting such a massive deal, but Dave told her he knew that once he accepted the money, it would be used to control him. After he refused, Oprah publicly mocked him, and most people at the time couldn't understand why Dave walked away from that kind of offer. But now, with everything coming to light, it's finally clear that Dave saw the bigger picture long before anyone else did.
Away from this popular Comedy Central show, a lot of people wondered what the hell was he thinking? And that's a quote. Chappelle says he had,
he was thinking.
Or whether he was thinking. A lot of people ask that question. Chappelle says he had a crisis of conscience and stood up for his integrity as an artist. He explained to us how stepping out of the spotlight helped him avoid getting caught in a trap.
It's so much bigger than money, though, Dave. It's so much bigger than money.
Oh, no, it was bigger than money. But you know what? I watched one of these nature shows one time, and they were talking about how a bushman finds water when it's scarce.
Mm-hmm.
And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this. Apparently, baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped. He can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty. The bushman lets him out the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water. Bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was smart enough to let go of the salt.
Isn't that a great analogy?
What an analogy.
I know. He's very, very thoughtful and very, very...
The tables have turned, and people are coming after Cat Williams. Diddy is reportedly doing everything in his power to secure his release, and he's said to be seeking revenge, no matter the cost. According to reports, he's even pressuring some of the victims who testified against him to change their stories and vouch for his character. In a surprising twist, Young Miami, one of Diddy's former girlfriends, has allegedly written a letter to the judge requesting that he be granted bail. What makes this even more shocking is that during the trial, Diddy himself identified Young Miami as one of his adult workers.
Young Miami has wrote a letter to the judge asking him to free Diddy. And this is coming in a bombshell document where Diddy is claiming that the probation department who investigates and gives a report to the judge and the prosecution are both trying to maximize his sentence. Young Miami says, "I'm a mother, daughter, sister, and hip-hop artist who has spent many years in the public eye. I want to be clear that I cannot speak or defend anything that that may have happened before I met Sean Combs, and I do not condone any wrongdoing. I can only speak on my experience and the man that I've known over the past 4 years. For 3 of those years, I was in a public relationship with Sean, and during that time, I witnessed and came to know a different person than the one that's often portrayed. Behind the scenes, he was loving, genuine, supportive, and always encouraging. He motivated me, believed in me, and helped me grow both personally and professionally. He made the choice to check himself into anger management, start therapy, and commit physical healing through therapy. That takes strength, humility, and self-awareness. He did not do it for show. He did it because he wanted to grow and become a better person. In my personal experience, Sean is not a danger or a threat to the community. He is a man of God, someone who uplifts, supports, inspires those around him to be better mentally, physically, and
Feds had more than enough evidence to put Diddy behind bars. Yet somehow, he still managed to walk free. Allegedly, this is because Diddy struck a deal with the government and has been working as an informant all along. Jaguar Wright backed up these claims, saying that Diddy's confidence came from knowing he was protected, that no matter how openly he flaunted his crimes, nothing would happen to him. And now, that theory seems more believable than ever. Reports are even circulating about the possibility of a presidential pardon, raising serious questions about just how deep Diddy's connections really go.
I just find it funny because a lot of the people that's on tour with Cat are a lot of the people that was getting overlooked by Hollywood. And all these Illuminati people. And you hear a lot of that. There's a lot of that being said. Oh, well, you know, people on the tour said it can't be acting up. And people on the tour said can't be hitting on, he be in the women on the tour. People on the tour said, well, why are any of these people coming forward and saying it themselves? Other than Monique, apparently. And from what I heard, she didn't have a lot to say either. Did I go and listen to it? No, I didn't. I heard what other people had to say. Matter of fact, what did she say? I want to hear you say.
So, the clip that I personally saw, it was just, I kind of seen it through kind of like a third party, you know, the YouTube when they show stuff. But just, she was basically just trying to say like it's the, you know, the company he keeps and stuff like that, and he had to have something to do with it, pretty much.
Now, did she say that, or is that what somebody else said she said? And are we sure that wasn't AI? Because I heard somebody come after her, saying that she was fronting on the whole situation, and that she wasn't holding anybody accountable, and that she was trying to make it seem like he died of natural causes when, you know, his life was taken.
Right. Well, you know, this YouTube and AI stuff is.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Because she was, you know, one instance she's not saying anything, and now she's saying. Because what I think it is that everybody just wants to see him take an L on this one, and I'm just trying to figure out why. Why does everyone have such a vested interest in seeing Cat Williams take the fall for this, or go down for this, or be responsible for this, or set it up, or done this, or done that? And the only thing that makes sense to me is oh, y'all want him to be bad because Diddy is still in jail. You know, Rock Nation is looking really bad, and all you Illuminati people, you know, you're all looking real bad right now. So y'all need the people that pointed it out to look even worse, don't you? You know, the one thing that Kat said on Shay Shay that it seems like everybody missed, especially now, was that the biggest job of people in the Illuminati is to pretend like none of it's real, to pretend like none of it happens, to keep the secret, to make it all seem like, oh no, that's not happening, that's not happening, that's not happening. Isn't that exactly what's happening now? Because all of that stuff was redacted, and because all of that stuff was kept off the record, and for whatever reason the feds didn't present a lot of stuff that would have made sure that he was gone forever, rather than just being gone to November.
Suge Knight has echoed the same claims, insisting that the plan to protect Diddy was in motion from the very beginning. According to him, Donald Trump is preparing to pardon Diddy, and the feds have been working toward that outcome since day one. This trial, Suge says, was never meant to end with Diddy behind bars. Key evidence was buried, and despite nearly a dozen women testifying against him, Diddy is still being allowed to walk free. Suge Knight alleges that Diddy provided the government with inside information for years, and in return, they turned a blind eye to his actions, ensuring his protection when the time came.
Do you think he's going to be all right because someone's going to tamper with the jury? Is that what you're trying to say?
He got enough influence, and I'm quite sure, don't seem like the prosecution is that bad against him. Don't seem like I think he got some favors with the government. I think they're going to show him a little leeway. It might not seem like it when it's all said and done, but I don't think he has nothing to worry about. I don't think he's worried because he's going to be federal. And if he gets convicted, Trump's going to pardon him. So what's the worry?
You think the president of the United States would pardon Sean Combs for trafficking?
Shit, he pardoned Michael Harris, who allegedly a Jewish teenager or had him killed. So they don't care about that. It's all about, what's in it for the long run and what the bucks say and what the power of the people want. He's going to go to prison. And if he do, it'll be for something very, very small. It wouldn't be nothing what the people think. I don't think he's going to go nowhere long. And at the same time, you got to look at it. The best witness they had is KPD. KPD been informant for a very, very long time. And KPD is getting ready to go to trial for the murder of Tupac. KPD said it, everybody else know it. And KPD says the money came from Puffy, the Tupac, and myself. So if they really wanted Puffy that bad, KPD would have cut a deal with them, got on that stand, and broke it down. That'd have been the RICO right there. That'd have been higher right there.
Virgin Deal has revealed that Diddy's recent rehab admission is nothing more than a PR stunt designed to win sympathy. According to Gene, Diddy is only trying to convince the judge that he's changed the tactic many criminals use before sentencing. Allegedly, Diddy believes that by portraying himself as someone struggling with mental health, he can fool the court into showing him mercy. But as Gene points out, bad mental health doesn't turn someone into a monster who's been destroying lives for years. Diddy just wants his freedom, and he's reportedly willing to say whatever it takes to get it.
So those programs that he's doing is so he could appease the judge, so he can help either with the sentencing or the fact the judge may release him. Now, based on all that and the programming and stuff like that, even if he does the program and stuff like that, the prosecution is still going to say, yo, listen to me. Okay, he did the program, he did that, but this is how much time and more time than somebody else who had the same kind of crime, this is how much time they did. Because if you notice, the judge asked the defense for a record or court cases of people getting time for this. So you know what the defense going to do? They're going to come up the least amount of time that people got for this Mann Act charge. So now you got the prosecution. They're going to put in the most time that somebody got who did this thing, who did this crime. So now the judge going to look at the programming, look at the pre-sentence report, and decide what kind of time he's going to give them. But all that programming that he's doing, all criminals, anybody who go to jail, if it's for drug dealers, they go to jail. Some of them don't even use drugs, but they take a drug class, they take the drug courses so it can look good on their record when they go in front of the probation and they go back in front of the judge. If they did a domestic violence, they take the domestic violence course. They take the domestic violence course so that when they go back in the judge, he say, okay, they took a domestic violence course. And 9 times out of 10, any course that they take, they're going to refer them out for treatment once they get out of jail. So all those courses and all those cases and all those courses that he's taken is to get him out of jail and nothing more. I don't give a flying F about him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a facade. It's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He had enough money way before he got to jail. If he wanted to do something to get himself right, to get off drugs, he could have got the best doctors. You understand? He could have gotten the best treatment facility. If he wanted to stop beating women, he could have got some psychological help. He could have bought the best that money could buy. So all this shit is just to get his sorry ass out to jail. And 9 times out of 10, it usually helps.
Is the president even considering a pardon in the first place? It's raising serious questions about what's really happening behind the scenes. There's clearly more to this story than what's being shown to the public. Powerful people are involved, and it seems like every move is being carefully orchestrated to protect certain interests. The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that this isn't just about Diddy, it's about influence, control, and the secrets that those in power don't want exposed.
President Trump now clarifies his comments during an interview with Newsmax on August 1st.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Right.
Would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yes.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but he seems, I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, you know, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great. And seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you, sir.
Yeah, and it's hard, you know, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements. So I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs.
Diddy's legal team has already filed an appeal for an acquittal, and a hearing is reportedly on the way. If the appeal is granted, Diddy could walk free without facing any real consequences. Even if the court denies the acquittal, insiders claim that people close to him, including Young Miami, are working behind the scenes to secure his release on bail. In their latest bail request, Diddy's attorneys have allegedly offered a staggering $50 million bond package, proving just how far they're willing to go to get him out.
Sean Diddy Combs' defense is requesting either a new trial or an acquittal altogether. Combs was found not guilty of the more serious trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges, but was convicted of transporting workers across state lines. Now his attorneys say his actions don't fit the crime. Let's bring in Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer for more. Aaron, what's the latest here?
So, Diane, his attorneys say that the way this was charged doesn't exactly match what Sean Combs did. And they say he's the only person who's ever been convicted of this charge, transportation for the purposes of prostitution, who hasn't benefited from the prostitution other than through voyeurism. They say voyeurism, watching other people have sex, isn't what this law was meant to address. Combs, they say, didn't profit from prostitution. In other words, he was no pimp here, and he wasn't a John either. He didn't have sex with the male escorts. Instead, he brought girlfriends and male escorts across state lines to watch them have sex. And his attorneys say that just doesn't fit what the law is about.
Diddy's legal problem. So Diddy's legal team has just filed a motion for bail. They're offering $50 million. They're, basically arguing that it's unfair that he's behind bars given the nature of his conviction. His attorneys are asking the judge to approve the $50 million bond package, and they want him to live on house arrest in his Miami mansion while he waits, for his convictions. Now, the judge, has ordered Diddy to remain in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center until October 3rd, when his sentencing is set. So, and remember, the judge also, cited during the case that Diddy's admitted violence towards his former lovers, including Cassie. He said, quote, "It's impossible for the defendant to show he possesses no danger to any person." So he said that. So that's the reason he felt that he needed to stay behind bars. So I'm wondering, you know what I mean? If this, if this will still apply.
So what do you think? Is Diddy walking free because he's protected by powerful people, or will the truth finally catch up to him? This story is far from over, and the next few weeks could completely change everything we thought we knew about this case. Drop your thoughts below. It's about to get even deeper.